And welcome back to The Wrap. Well, Republicans are firing back at Hillary Clinton, who went after her potential rivals, not all 24 of them, but at least 6, insisting they're on a crusade against voting rights.
Wisconsin, Governor Scott Walker cut back early voting and signed legislation that would make it harder for college students to vote. In New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie vetoed legislation to extend early voting. And in Florida, when Jeb Bush was governor, state authorities conducted a deeply flawed purge of voters before the presidential election in 2000.
Now, Mrs. Clinton made those remarks in Houston at the historically black Texas Southern University. Surprisingly enough, she did not take any questions from reporters afterwards. And the clock continues, now over 20,000 minutes since she took her last question. Anyway, former Governor Rick Perry took great exception to her accusations.
The people of the state of Texas is who she's taken on, because that was a law that was passed by the people of the state of Texas. She just went into my home state and dissed every person who supports having an identification to either get on an airplane or to vote. And that's highly popular.
Nice touch with dissed. And in New Hampshire, Chris Christie didn't mince any words either.
Secretary Clinton doesn't know the first thing about voting rights in New Jersey or in the other states that she attacked. And my sense is that she just wants an opportunity to commit greater acts of voter fraud around the country. So, I'm not worried about her opinion.
And Clinton just happens to be calling for universal automatic voter registration for Americans when they turn 18. Boy, you want to talk about this. You could barely let me get through the script.
Yeah. I mean, you got to know, first of all, everything that Hillary Clinton said there was true. It was. I'm about to give you the facts. Then you go after me.
Okay.
Number one, not only did she properly quote what happened in Wisconsin, it was actually worse. Because what they did in Wisconsin was they passed a law that was overturned, thank goodness, by a court, where you had to go to the DMV to get your card. Mm-hmm. So what did they do? They immediately closed up the DMV location in the really deep part of the poor section of Milwaukee, and they merged it with one that was 45 miles away, meaning if you happened to be a black person and you didn't have a card, you couldn't go get your card. So that's number one. Number two, for Rick Scott to sit there and say he's offended is hysterical.
It wasn't Rick Scott.
Perry.
Oh, it was Rick Perry. Yeah, when I heard Florida, I thought Rick Scott. You're right. You're right. Rick Perry, I never take whatever he says seriously, but it's really true. Everything that Hillary said there is accurate. Look, I happen to support a national voter ID card. I have no problem with it at all. I think it's a great idea as long as it's free and it's fair and people are given the opportunity to make their case as to their citizenship. What we've seen happening is not about the card. It's about passing laws and trying to get them into effect so quickly that people don't have a chance to do it. It is an attempt to try and rig the election. We all remember the Speaker of the House of Pennsylvania rising on the floor and saying because of the law they had just passed, they had just made sure that Pennsylvania would go for Governor Romney.
All right, Bill. Tell him why he's wrong.
Well, no, it's not why you're wrong. What I don't understand is what this is.
At me.
Well, I did laugh at you, as a matter of fact, because we never agree on anything, but except for tonight. I just don't understand why she's chosen this issue. There's so many things to go after.
Great issue.
I think it's an idiotic issue.
Now we want voters to come.
If you want to get voters out, then
the
that's
voters
great.
don't care about this issue. The voters along the line say that they agree with having to use, exactly as you said, some sort of photo ID. The thing that cracks me up, and to your point, is that she goes after the Supreme Court for Citizens United campaign finance because she's in the middle of campaigning. She goes about again against the Supreme Court for Voters Act because she's about to be elected.
Lord, she's a politician.
But it's all her. No, the American people who she's supposed to be politicking for their votes don't care about these things. They care about the economy. They care about security. You didn't hear a big rise of applause when she said that?
You don't have to. There are certain communities in this country that are very sensitive to people trying to take away their voting rights. And how do we know that? Because we see what happens. Now I am going to go back to Florida where Rick Scott ran the most remarkable campaign to do it. And we saw people in that community line up for 8 to 10 hours to vote. Why? Because they weren't going to let him get away with it. They care.
And that's exactly what she's trying to do.
They care. Right.
Do you think that
She's a
everybody
politician.
18, you automatically get to vote in the country?
I don't
unless
think
you
it's
opt out?
automatic. I think you have to provide something that shows that you
have to motivate
qualify.
people.
Right.
I don't
think
have a
you're
problem with
automatically
that.
registered is what she's proposing.
Yeah, if you're 18, if you've been issued a Social Security card, as most people are when they're young, and then sure, why not? Why not?
Do you think people should be allowed to vote online?
I actually do, if the right kind of safeguards can be put in. It scares me a little bit because we have to. It's actually online voting that presents the greatest opportunity.
The whole hacking thing.
Give us
Right
the
after
conversation
the
at the
first
start
story,
of the show.
right? Exactly.
No, that's
I mean,
what I'm saying.
there's
It's a
too
question
much
of
room for fraud.
safeguards. But we actually kind of do vote online now. It's just connected by going to a booth and punching a thing or
But that
whatever,
connection is
and it
important.
goes in.
America's Got Talent doesn't count. We're talking
Oh,
politics.
why did you say that? Never mind. Everything I said. Never
Okay,
mind.
well, coming up next, a new poll shows new leaders in the GOP pack as support for Hillary is down. Plus, Donald Trump wages a new war. We'll tell you who he's attacking now. That's right after the break.